Hey everybody, it's Christy with Smoky Mountain Faith Food and Fun, and today I'm going to be showing you how my family makes old-fashioned chicken and dumplings, and these are drop dumplings made from scratch. I hope that you'll join us. 4 our homemade chicken and dumplings, you're going to need about 2 stalks of diced celery, a cup of diced onion, I'm using a sweeter onion, and maybe 3/4 of a cup of diced carrot. We don't like a lot of carrot, so we don't use a whole lot. You'll need about 4 cups of chicken broth. I am using the Better Than Bouillon base to make my broth. You'll need about a tablespoon of minced garlic, a tablespoon of thyme, salt and pepper to taste, a little bit of lemon juice, maybe just a splash, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and I've got 6 boneless chicken thighs. That's going to be our chicken. There's about 1 3/4 pounds there. And for the dumplings, homemade dumplings, and these are going to be the drop dumplings, you're going to need 3 cups of self-rising flour, about a cup of milk, and I've got 2 tablespoons of butter that I'm going to grate in there. And then of course, if we have to thicken our dumplings a little bit, we might need some cornstarch and milk. That's just all in how much the dumplings will absorb. So if you will stay tuned, we're going to make some drop style chicken and dumplings. Some people call them Yankee dumplings, but this is the way my mom made it. Basically, I might have made some changes over the years, and it's a comfort food kind of day here at Smoky Mountain Faith Food and Fun and the Ramsey Ranch. I've got my pot preheating. I think this is about an 8-quart pot, and I'm going to add in about 2 tablespoons of oil and let that heat up just for a minute before I add in our chicken. I do not see very many people who kind of saute the chicken a bit before they get their vegetables and their soup and stock going, but I like to do that because when you saute a chicken or the chicken, whatever chicken you want to use, and you can also use chicken breasts. I just prefer the mixture of the white and dark meat with the chicken thighs. But when you do that, it adds more flavor and it flavors your veggies, and it just adds a deeper flavor to the whole pot of chicken and dumplings. Okay, our pot is sufficiently preheated. Now I have salt and peppered one side of the chicken, and I'm going to put that seasoned side down. And just let that cook for maybe 2 to 3 minutes on each side. You don't want to get it totally done. You just kind of want to brown it. And I'm going to go ahead and salt and pepper this side of the chicken before we flip it. There are so many ways of making chicken and dumplings. This is just my way, and very similar to the way my mom made them all growing up. Okay, it has been about 2 minutes, and so I'm going to go ahead and flip our chicken. We got a little sticking at the bottom, and that's okay, because all that's going to do is add flavor to our pot. And we'll let that cook for another couple minutes. Again, we're not going to cook it all the way through. We just kind of want to get some of that chicken flavor down into our pot so that when we saute our veggies with the butter, all of that flavor just kind of melts together, and it will create a deeper and richer flavor in our pot of chicken and dumplings. Okay, we are going to go ahead and remove our chicken from the pan for now. And no, it is not cooked through, and we don't want it cooked through, but what we wanted is the bits at the bottom there. That is kind of what we are looking to get. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and scrape the bottom a little bit before adding in my butter. I add in the butter. That is a half a stick of butter. And get that melting just a little bit. I'm sorry I bumped you. I'm at about a medium heat. And I'm going to go ahead and put in our carrots, onion, and celery, otherwise known as Trinity. Get them going. And you're probably going to have to saute these for 2 or 3 minutes, maybe a little longer. Kind of just depends on how it looks. You want your onions to start to be a little more translucent. And we're going to scrape the bits, because that flavor. And I do use salted butter and everything. I almost don't see the point of unsalted even in baking. And you'll see how all that's scraping up into the veggies, and that's just creating more and more flavor. I'm going to go ahead and salt and pepper again. Again, this is to taste. If you're a cook, you know that you taste as you go. And everybody has different sodium, you know, how much you like salt, how much you like pepper, or how much salt you can have. And you can see all of that yumminess just kind of combining together. And at this point, you can see the onions are starting to cook already. And the carrot and celery will cook as the soup or stock cooks. I've got some thyme here. And I'm going to use about a tablespoon. And mix that in. And the aroma coming up out of this pot is incredible. And at this point, you can add a good heaping, about a tablespoon of garlic. And as you can see, I am using the garlic that you buy in the jar. And mix that in. And all that chicken bits have come off the bottom of the pan. They've been deglazed. Pan's been deglazed with all the veggies and butter and all that good stuff. See, this is all what's going to create your flavor in your chicken and dumplings. I'm going to let that cook for just a little bit longer, and I will be back with you in just a moment. Alright, it has been about 2 to 3 minutes, and as you can see, our veggies are almost cooked through, but not quite. And so I'm going to go ahead and add our chicken back in. And in with 4 cups of chicken broth, chicken stock. You can use the box stuff from the store. I'm using Better Than Bouillon roasted chicken base that you just mix it with water as directed, and then you've got your stock. It's a very delicious and flavorful, and look at that, that already looks amazing. All right, the last thing I'm gonna do before I put this to simmer is add in about a teaspoon of lemon juice, and that just elevates our flavors a little bit more, and it'll be wonderful. Now, my mother never did this. This is just something I picked up along the way, and so we're gonna put our lid on, and we're gonna let this cook for about half hour, 45 minutes, and then we will come back and see if our chicken is done. All right, for our homemade drop dumplings, we are gonna go ahead and sift 3 cups of flour. And you can use an old-timey sifter, or one of these sifters works fine. Reason we're sifting is it makes the dumplings lighter, fluffier, and we don't want any heavy dumplings. I like a light and fluffy dumpling. I know a lot of people make the drop style dumplings, or not drop style, the rolled dumplings, which is kind of like making a biscuit dough and rolling them out and cutting them like into squares. I wasn't raised with that. I don't dislike it, but I just kind of like it the way I grew up doing it, having it. And we'll sift this. Now, my husband is a Southerner, Brooksy, and he says his mama made drop dumplings. So I guess in the South anyway goes. But in the North, I was raised in Indiana, we prefer the drop dumplings. And my mom would just use Bisquick and the recipe on there, and those are very good. I didn't have any Bisquick, so I'm making my own. And it just takes a minute to sift. Working with flour, you're making a mess. All right, dumplings are super easy. This is self-rising flour, so I'm just gonna add like a pinch of salt. And gotta grab my spoon here, spatula. And I have a cup of milk. I'm going to add it a little bit at a time, because what we want is kind of a wet, sticky dough. Probably not quite as dense as a biscuit dough. Now, I've seen people make just dumplings out of canned biscuits. I've never tried that. If you've done that, tell me about it, because I'm curious, is it really good? And you just kind of mix as you go. And as you need more milk, you add more milk. And we may need a little more than a cup. We'll see. Kind of turned to a shaggy dough now. So I'm gonna add just a little bit more milk at a time, and until it gets to where I want it to be. We like the dumplings in our chicken and dumplings, I'll tell you. Don't spare the dumplings. I think we're getting there. I figure if you can make them with your own ingredients, you're not having to use anything that's processed. It's always better for you. And we're about there. Kind of shaggy dough. Get the rest of it's in the bottom there. Worked in, and then these will be ready to drop in our pot when the chicken has cooked through and we're ready to finish it up. So basically this is kind of what you're looking for, kind of a wet dough, not too stiff, and you just drop that into your broth and they cook. All right, we will be back in just a second and a half for you when the broth is done, and we're going to take the chicken out and let it set for a moment while we shred it and cook our dumplings. Okay, y'all, I forgot an important step. My bad. And again, this is actually optional. I have seen this done both ways, but I wanted to grate some butter into my dumpling dough. So we're gonna do that real quick. I did freeze this it's 2 tablespoons of butter. And we're just gonna grate it in there and then work that back in there with our spatula. Human error. The reason I forgot about it is I had it in the freezer keeping it cold so that it can grate. See how that's grating kind of into little curls? That'll make it easier to mix into my dough. Can't forget those important steps. And if you have a grater like mine, you're going to be real careful once you get down to the end and just kind of mince that in there. And there we go. I don't want to waste any of that. It's good butter. Too expensive to waste any of it. All right. So that'll make it easier to kind of work in to our dough. And that's really just going to give us a richer dumpling. And as easy as that, worked right in. And that was just 2 tablespoons of butter, and like I said, I put it in the freezer for maybe 15 or 20 minutes to get it nice and cold so it would be easy to kind of shred into our dough. All right, that is a perfect consistency dumpling dough. So we're just waiting on our chicken and our broth to finish. I have tasted it and it tastes perfectly seasoned. So we're not gonna have a whole lot longer, and we're gonna have some yummy chicken and dumplings. Okay, everybody, we have our chicken thighs completely cooked, and look at that. I'm just going to transfer them over to a plate to cool off for a few minutes. And then we're going to put in our dumplings. So while our dumplings are cooking, our chicken is going to cool off a little bit and get to a point where we can shred it and put it back in once the dumplings are finished. All right, I'm going to go ahead and turn my heat back up from a 2 to about a 4.5 to get our broth simmering a bit better. And we've got our dumpling dough. It is here. And we're going to take our handy dandy little scoop and start scooping these in one at a time. And the key to a fluffy dumpling, or a fluffy drop dumpling, is to let them cook for 10 minutes with the lid off and then 10 minutes with the lid on. And these dumplings should absorb a lot, or if not most, of the liquid, so that all we're left with is yummy dumplings and chicken. As you can see, they are already starting to float, which means they're fluffy. Get in the pool. Somebody told me a trick of dipping it in there and it makes it easier. I'll keep doing that. That worked well. Wow, look at that. You're learning something new with me. Oh, those are going to be fantastic. Coming almost to the end of our bowl here. And so as not to disturb the peace of this, we're just going to give our pan a little shake. Dunk that guy down into that broth. And we're going to cook for 10 minutes. It's been cooking 2 minutes, most of them already, but we're going to go ahead and give it about another 8 minutes with the lid off. And then we're going to put the lid on. Okay, everybody. We have had about 10 minutes with the lid off, and now we're going to put the lid on. And I'm going to move you over here, and we're just going to shred up that chicken. I like the thighs because you get a good mix of light and dark meat. And for me, the dark meat is really what brings out the flavor. So if you'll tell me in the comments, how does your family eat chicken and dumplings? Do you like the rolled dumplings? Do you like fluffy drop dumplings? Do you use biscuits? I've heard some people use pieces of broken off flour tortillas. How do you like it? And do you like with a lot of broth? Do you like it where the dumplings absorbs most of it and you've got just mainly chicken and dumplings and veggies? How do you like it? Now my mom made it with a little bit more broth, I think, than I do. Because when I eat chicken and dumplings, I kind of just want chicken and dumplings. Yeah, it is awesome. Nice big, but not too big, shreds of chicken. And we are almost at time for these delicious chicken and dumplings. I was kind of laughed the first time I heard someone call it Yankee style. And I really know that's not true, because I actually know Southerners who make drop dumplings too. Alright, there we go. It is ready to go in that pot when our dumplings are finished. We'll be back in a second to finish it up. Oh my goodness. Look, look, look. Ugh, look at those. Now, we're stirring it, but we're not stirring a whole lot. See, I'm kind of going around the dumplings. And I'm going to make kind of a well here in the center, if these babies will let me. But look at these. Doesn't that look delicious? And how creamy that broth is. We're not going to need to make a cornstarch slurry at all. Look at that. Fantastic. Look how rich that broth is. All right, we are going to add our chicken back in and serve it up. Boy, is that going to make yummy dinner. And for me, this is just a bowl of comfort at a time when I really kind of need some. Oh, goodness gracious. That's perfect. Look how rich that broth is. That's because rich and darker. A lot of times chicken and dumplings is more of a lighter color. This is a darker color because we sauteed and browned and seared that chicken off. And all that delicious flavor just went into that pot. And we've got gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous chicken and dumplings. I'm excited to try it with you all. And we're gonna just dish it up. Oh, you know, they really need to invent smell-o-vision with all the technology out there today. It's kind of unbelievable that they haven't yet. Look at that. It's amazing. I'm gonna meet you back over at the table and we're gonna try it. Okay, friends, the chicken and dumplings are done and they look really, really good, and I wish you could smell it, but I'm gonna try it here for you. And delicious. That is a bowl of comfort right there. Perfect season, perfect flavor, perfect texture, and hope you can see the inside of the dumpling and see that it's good and fluffy and delicious. So I kind of am in a comfort food mode today because it's been a rough week for us here in our house. In an 18-month period, we've now lost 5 very close people to us, and my dear, dear friend Deb went to be with the Lord on Thursday. It was Thursday. Days are kind of running together, to be honest. And we kind of really didn't expect it. We knew she was ill, of course, and you know, was struggling, but she kind of went downhill really quickly. And anyway, it's just been a very sad time for us, and kind of having 5 deaths within such a short amount of time kind of leaves us in a period of just craving comfort, because that's all you can do at a time like this is get through your grief and pray and have the Lord, ask the Lord to help you. And you know, sometimes you just need a bowl of comfort food. And you know, when my mom would make it growing up, chicken and dumplings, man, it's comfort. So we hope that you enjoyed the video today and that you will try making chicken and dumplings our way. There are so many ways to do it, but this is the way we do it, and we love it this way. And if you enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up. That helps us out. If you're new and you haven't subscribed, please hit the little subscribe button there on the right side of the video underneath, and hit the little notification bell. It looks like a little bell, and that'll tell you when we upload new videos. As always, we are a praying couple, and we would love to pray for you. If you have any prayer requests, feel free to email those to ramseyemail@gmail.com, and we will lift your situation up in prayer. We love you all. We hope that you'll keep coming back to see what we're doing, and we hope that you will make you some chicken and dumplings. You guys have an awesome day.